Hey YouTube, Wes here. Hope you guys are doing great, my friends. In today's video, we're going to cover an alternative way that you can earn some crypto just by going through your normal business. Yes, indeed, we're covering the 5 best credit or debit cards that are crypto enabled with crypto rewards. I'm going to cover my top 5 as well as 2 new ones that I've got an eye out for that are upcoming really soon. Which one is right for you? Any? All? Multiple? We're going to cover this and a whole bunch more coming right up. Hey my friends, Wes Spencer here. Thank you guys so much for joining as we cover the top 5 crypto cards of 2021 and 2022, plus 2 as a bonus that are coming up. Really excited to cover that. Now, if we've never met before, I am not just a crypto influencer on YouTube. I'm actually much more than that. I'm a startup entrepreneur. I have started, sold companies, especially in cybersecurity, which is really my background. And I do this channel because I really love it. I am not in this as a full-time YouTuber. I'm never going to be a full-time YouTuber. So you're not going to see a bunch of moon pumping. You're not going to see a bunch of shilling on this channel. I just cover technologies that really interest me. So sometimes I'll dive into like a brand new crypto that I think is really emerging and I'll tell you why I like it. Sometimes I'll talk about news events or sometimes I'll talk about stuff like this. So I'm really glad you've joined me. I would love for you to hit the like and subscribe and even hit the bell icon just to stay up to date with news. And one other thing, if you really like the channel, absolutely check out the memberships. They're right down there. You just hit join. Easy way to jump in. I don't gate content away, but it's just a fun, great way to connect with me in a deeper way and would love to see you there if that is right for you. Now, because today's topic is all about credit cards, I need to give you a warning. The first warning is the one I always give you. Never listen to YouTubers. The truth is, we don't know what we're talking about. If you listen to us and you make all your investment strategies based upon what YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and so many others say, you're going to go broke. This is why you see so many people like, this crypto's going to the moon, and then a week later, it's not, and they back out of all that or ignore that they ever said it, right? So don't listen to us. Always do your own research. That's the first warning. But the second warning is this. We're talking about credit cards today. Credit cards can be really dangerous. While they have a lot of advantages, if you max those suckers out and you don't pay them off and you're not financially disciplined, one of the worst areas of debt that you can get into is credit card debt. We know the APY average on debt for credit cards is well over 20%, at least in the US. So it's terrible. Like the last thing you should ever do is get into credit cards and then not pay them off. That's dangerous. I know so many people that get like saddled with debt in the hopes of like, oh, I'll be able to pay it off one day. And you end up with minimum payments and it's just a mess. So I'm telling you, before you jump into anything that I say, your first responsibility is this. Am I mature enough to be able to handle a credit card? My advice and what I do is simply this. I pay off what I owe every single month. I never have credit card debt. And I know there's a lot of people out there like Dave Ramsey and others that like are very anti credit cards, but that's because their viewing philosophy is no debt whatsoever. And I don't totally agree with that. So I will say this though, where I do agree is never get into credit card debt. It is such a dangerous trap and a pitfall that's hard to climb out of once you go in. So now that that is out of the way, do your own due diligence. Find your own way and make sure you're mature enough to handle credit cards. You can pay them off every month. Now we can get into the top 5. So the number 5 crypto that I have my eye on is this guy right here. This is the crypto.com rewards card. And this one's not a credit card. We'll jump into it in a little bit. Man, this video is like really messing with me. Let's scroll down past all that. Whew. Think of this card as a rewards card is a really good way to look at it. It has a couple major advantages. One advantage is that it really gives you a ton of, like you see this up to 8%. Now, first of all, you're not going to earn up to 8% unless you're a whale. You have to store and stake over 400,000, close to $500,000 worth of their own token, CRO. So you're not going to be around that. Most of us are not going to be around that. You're going to be around this 0% or this 1%, this 2%, this 3% for most of us watching this channel. And so this is one of those is a disadvantage. You kind of have to buy into your percentage stake by holding a bunch of their token. Where this makes a lot of sense is, first of all, I would say this. If you're a big believer in crypto.com in the first place, well, then it may make sense. You may be like, I love crypto.com. I buy a ton off them and I love their own native token. If that's you, then this may be the card for you simply because of how the whole CRO staking process works in order to buy into the card. And they're great on rewards. You heard me say that at the very beginning, right? So 100% benefits on things like Spotify, Netflix, Prime, if you're at the top tier. If you're not at their top tier, then you're just going to see this, $400 staked or more, then you're just going to see 100% of that in Spotify only. So you can kind of take a peek at these and say, man, I do hold a lot, whatever it may be. Maybe you're in the 40,000 club and you're earning at 5% crypto rewards. 100% of what you spend on Prime, Netflix, and Spotify go back to you. That's kind of awesome. But it's really not, in the sense that it's not like everything you spend on Amazon. It's just the Prime, for example, if you're at that 40,000 mark. So, these are nice, but I don't see this as like a big enough differentiator. What I really see this is if I'm a big crypto.com fan and I got 4,000 worth stored making 3% rewards, it on what I spend is definitely really, really awesome. I mean, that's way higher than a lot of the cards I'm going to show you in just a minute. But there are some catches. So the rewards are good if you're at certain tiers. They do allow ATM withdrawals, all that kind of stuff. But one thing to really talk about that I want you to know about this card is, look at this right here. It's not a credit or a debit card. It's actually a prepaid card. And so prepaid cards, there's a lot of these that are out there. I mean, you can go to a local retailer like a Walmart or somewhere and buy these prepaid cards. You're constantly having to top up these cards based upon how much you use them. And that's definitely an annoyance factor for sure. So even if I used this card, and this is why it's ranked as number 5 to me, it wouldn't be a heavy use card. It would really be to take advantage as much as I can of the CRO that I own, and I would just go from there. And they talk about this here. It's easy to top it up. Well, yes, but it's something I have to do every time I want to top it up, right? So I'm not the hugest fan of the crypto.com card. I think, to me, it seems like a rush to market, and certainly its advantages for people like me and you really are if you are a big user in the crypto.com ecosystem. And for sure, all of the different cryptos that they support that you can earn off of, like up to, I think it's 40 at the time of this video, that's awesome. That's way more than a lot of other cards. But for me, as a prepaid card, it's just not there. It's not the solution for me personally, which is why I have it at number 5. Oh, and one other thing I should tell you, because you may be wondering this, how do you even get into owning their crypto coin, their own token? Well, here it is right here, and I'm showing it. It's currently at 17 cents. So you can do the math on this, right? If this thing costs 17 cents per coin and you want to get in on it and you want to be at a certain rate, let's say you want to be at an earning, $4,000 US rate, whatever, this tells you, it's 17 cents. So you can kind of get an idea of how much you're going to have to purchase and what this thing looks like, how many of the tokens you'll end up owning in order to get into that spot. So there you have it. That is my number 5 coin, is the crypto.com one. Now, number 4 is one that you may not have expected. And it's one that I didn't expect until I started doing a lot of research into this guy. And that is this card right here, the SoFi Card. Now, we know SoFi is getting into crypto. They're kind of like Robinhood and PayPal and some of the others where you can sort of buy crypto, but you don't really own it. It's sort of held in their app, and you don't have your own wallet. And, a lot of crypto purists are like, that's not your crypto, right? Not your keys, not your crypto. And I understand that, right? At least for some people. Now, there's a lot of people out there that just want to buy it on paper, and they're happy with that. And so the SoFi Card is kind of interesting. So a couple things about it. You're going to earn 2% unlimited cash back when you redeem it, or you can put that into a SoFi loan, which is what they're really known for, is sort of this way it's non-bank way to get into lending and get loans for certain things. But one thing that's interesting here, they call it the first credit card. I don't know that that's true. I can't authenticate that, but lets you cash in on crypto. So that 2% earning that you get back, one of the things you can do, and you can even see this right here in the app itself, you can just flip on this capability to turn that directly into crypto earning. Now, again, SoFi is not known known as like a crypto exchange. So it's not like you're going to have all of the benefits of like the crypto.com prepaid card that I just showed you. You got 40 different options. It's not going to work like that. But the ability for you to immediately take 2% across the board flat and directly put that into crypto is really, really advantageous. I mean, 2% is more than most of the ones that I'm going to show you that are here. And so a lot of people are really a big fan of the SoFi card just because that 2% is really, really nice inside of all of this. It's also fee free, so that's kind of nice as well. But keep in mind, you don't pay off. You're going to still pay the high APYs that all credit cards get into. So here it is. You can see, how to check into it and get into, all the other benefits that it's got, some cell phone protection, some other things that they typically have. But this one's a simple one to show because really the most important part of all of it is 2% directly into crypto itself. And so if you're sort of a purist and you don't want to mess with it and you don't want access to a lot of bells and whistles, and you don't care about having to have the capability of selecting multiple different cryptos, and you're not interested in a native token like a CEL for Celsius or CRO for crypto.com, this may be the route for you. 2% across the board beats just about anything that's out there. That's kind of nice. So that is my number 4, not number 2. That's my number 4 crypto that I wanted to show you, and currently for me sitting in the number 4 spot. So what about number 3? Number 3 is one that's gotten a lot of attention, and this is the Gemini card. Now, I'm a big fan of Gemini. I use Gemini quite a bit. It is a crypto exchange. It's created by the Winklevoss twins, or the Winklevi is what a lot of people call them. Some of the original creators of Facebook that went on into the crypto space, and I really like what Gemini is doing, especially on the institutional side. It's maybe struggles for traction on the retail side, just for individual buyers, but it's definitely a great platform. And so for them, you see this right here, you're like, oh, up to 3% back. Sign me up for that, right? That beats anything else Wes has shown me. Well, stay tuned. It's not quite the same way. But just like the crypto.com prepaid card, this credit card actually allows you to get to choose from 40 plus cryptos. And so way more flexibility than what the SoFi card has, which is nice. And then no annual fee, which you'd kind of expect all of that. But there's a couple catches to all of this. The first is, remember we said up here up to 3% back? Well, it's only 3% on dining-based purchases. 2% on groceries, 1% everything else. So here's the way you really got to think about this card is, how am I going to use it? If you are very heavy in eating out, this may be an excellent card for you. And even if you combine the Gemini card with maybe another card, you may just want to always keep in mind, anytime I'm eating out on dining purchases, always use this card, because why not seize on the 3%? But the 2% on groceries, 1% on everything else, you just really have to think about that. You have to look at your budget and understand, how much am I spending, especially on credit cards, and in what categories. If you don't eat out much, and you're not a huge grocery buyer compared to all your other expenses, this is not a good card for you. However, if you're someone like me that travels all the time, this may be a great niche card to purchase specifically for eating out. 3%. Let's say you take a bunch of clients out. You spend $1,500 for the evening taking a whole bunch of clients out, or maybe more, right? I spend a lot more than that taking clients out. 3% back on that right into crypto, that is awesome. So that's what really makes it the number 3 card for me. It doesn't really have a lot of other bells and whistles to it. It's pretty simple. I guess I can choose the colors for it, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, I'm just sort of trusting in Gemini themselves, and I can actually transfer some of it to their Earn program. And I haven't really covered Gemini Earn, but it's a lot like the other earning programs that exchanges have that are out there, if you're okay and comfortable with storing some with them. My view on all this is really pretty simple. There are some additional bells and whistles, but I look at it like this. If you want to make 3% and you do a lot of dining out, this is the card for you, which is why it's my number 3 card. But it's not my everyday card. I wouldn't use this for all purchases all the time, because scaling everything back that's not dining or groceries down to 1% for the vast majority of the rest of it is not really that good. So that is why it's my number 3 card. It's super cool, but it has some niche use cases, and would only recommend it in those use cases. Okay, so let's move on. What is the number 2? The number 2 might shock you just a little bit, but here it is. The Venmo credit card. Now, Venmo is known, as sort of PayPal's new and, super popular payment mechanism. I pay some friends occasionally on Venmo. I get it, right? It's really nice. A lot of people don't know that Venmo has a credit card, and even less people that know it know that it's crypto enabled. Now, there's a lot of reasons I have it as my number 2 card, and let's dive into some of those things that exist. So first of all, they do have an incentive. If you first switch to it, you can get up to $100 cash back after you spend $1,000 in the first 6 months. That's like 10%, I guess. That should be really easy to do for most people, right? It's $1,000 in 6 months of spending, just in your normal everyday spending motions. That should be possible. Also, you can see right here, apply now through November 15th and be eligible for a $100 cashback bonus. That's super cool, really good. But here's what I really like about it. It is similar to the Gemini card in that it's 3% grocery, 2% bills and utility, 1% everything else. The difference, of course, is the flip between, 2% here is for bills and groceries, 2% for the Gemini card is only for groceries. And so looking at this, bills and utilities at 2%, for me, that actually works out much more. I spend more on bills and utilities, way more actually, than I do on groceries. So for me, that's why this sort of overtakes the Gemini card as my number 2 card. So you can even see some examples of like what your total spend is. They're just showing you if you spend $250 on groceries, $150 on bills and utilities, and $125 and everything else, you're going to make $11.70 back on crypto. That's not bad, right? Like that's pretty cool. There's some other things that are nice here. It's an automatic platform. Again, the advantages of credit cards. So you can just flip this little guy on and off you go. Now, again, disadvantage, unlike Gemini, it doesn't have up to 40 different cryptos. The number of cryptos they support is far more narrow just because that's how Venmo operates. It's very similar to PayPal, Robinhood, and others. You're not going to have access to the full suite of so many cryptos to purchase. And that is certainly a disadvantage. Now, some other things I really like about this as well, it is really consumerized. I mean, it's really meant for retail use. So I like this. It comes with your own unique QR code. So it's really easy for someone to buy or to like pay you for something. You're sitting there at lunch and they're like, oh, let me pay you for lunch. Psh, pop the card out. It's got your QR code built into it. Like, that's really cool, right? I mean, is it like a game changer? Of course not. It's just super, super cool. The other thing that I like about it is it really comes with all of the financial analysis tools that really make life nice for retail use. So kind of seeing your budgeting, where everything's going to, you can track it all. Very, very simple to kind of get going on all of that. The color options, of course, are really neat. I would super duper go with that pink and blue. That is the coolest colors. But yeah, you can totally play with all of that. It does have a lot of perks that come with it. So there you go. That's why it's my number 2 card. Just for me personally, I see it as very similar, and maybe I would even see neck and neck with the Gemini card. The difference for me is bills and utility beat out, for me, groceries. And so that's why it's my number 2. So my number 1 card of 2021 that I think for me is the best fit is this guy right here, the BlockFi Card. Now, I haven't covered BlockFi a lot, sort of a competitor to Celsius for sure. It's a way for you to earn extra crypto by storing it with someone else, which again, not your keys, not your crypto. You have to worry about that, but it's a great way for you to make additional incentives on the crypto you might hold. And so we're going to jump into this one a little bit. One thing that I really like about it is it's 1.5% cash back across the board. Across the board. You hear that? So it's not as high as 3% on like dining, but 1% or 1.5% across the board on everything, to me, evens out. Here's what you need to do. Go back and look at your budgets and just across the board see how much you spend in what categories. And what you're going to notice, at least for someone like me, is most of my expenditures are not in dining, groceries, bills, and utilities. They're just not. And so having 1.5% on everything is really nice. That is a really, really good benefit that really beats a lot of other stuff that's out there. And so there are some additional benefits as well. They show that you can earn up to 3.5% back in your first 3 months, but let's take a peek at this because it's not as good as that looks. You're like, whoa, 3.5% back? Like in the first 3 months, I'm going to blow this thing out of the water. Well, if we go way down here and look at their terms, you can see right here, there it is. 3.5% is an introductory offer, 90 days. And then look at this right here. The offer is capped at $100 in Bitcoin. So yes, the 3.5% is nice, but once you hit $100 worth, it goes right back to the normal. So not really that amazing. It's just a small incentive to switch. And then this one back here, though, is much more attractive to me. So that 1.5% can actually go all the way up to 2% in one certain case. If you purchase $50,000 annually or more, now you're at the 2% earning level. I realize not everybody's going to be at that high level of earning, or really I should say spending on a card. But if you are, getting up to 2% once you hit that threshold is really, really nice. Now let's go back and look at the little 3 mark, the little carve out here. So the rate reward increases from 1.5 to 2 after $50,000 of spread has been achieved and resets on the anniversary of the card every year. So what does that mean? You're still at 1.5% until you hit the $50,000 mark. In other words, probably a better way to look at this is, let's say that you go all year and it's not till December that you hit $50,000. Well, it's really December to January where you're earning at 2%. Versus, let's say you're somebody that's like, man, I've got some big expenses in like January, February, and I can hit that 50,000 within the first couple of months. The rest of the year earning at 2%. That is really, really awesome. So I am a big fan of the BlockFi card. Just very simplistically, the 1.5% across the board really makes it nice. It's a great way to really start building crypto as you move forward. And so that's what makes it my number one, is because it's very simple. The 1.5% across the board is really advantageous, and being able to simply build crypto as you go along in your day-to-day life is really, really nice. So that's what makes it currently in 2021 my number one credit card that is out there for earning crypto. There you have it. The top 4 cards, but one last one to cover that I think is really cool before we get into 2 upcoming cards that you definitely don't want to miss out on. And I promise I'll do some reviews of them when they come out. But first, a huge shout out and thank you to today's video sponsor, which is Celsius. If you are looking for a great place to earn crypto rewards and grow your investment as you're holding it, definitely check out Celsius. You can go to celsius.network to see more information about it, where you can store and earn up to 17% yield on crypto, depending on the ones that you invest in, and also have the capability to track it all right through a mobile app. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Celsius, and of course, always do your own research to make sure that platform and any other is right for you, down below is a referral code. It's also in the video description down below. Check that out. You'll earn $50 in Bitcoin when you transfer $400 or more of crypto to the Celsius platform. If that's right for you, certainly check it out and see what it has to offer. And also check out all of the Celsius videos I've done covering its security, covering how to use it, covering the background of Celsius, and so much more. So thank you to Celsius for sponsoring today's video. All right, friends, we're back. Thanks to Celsius for sponsoring this awesome video. Okay, so let's jump into this right here. Let's talk about the 2 credit cards that are upcoming that have me most excited. And actually I should back that statement back. It's one's a debit card and one's a credit card. So let's chat about both of them for just a bit. This is the Coinbase card. And it's a Visa debit card. It's not a credit card. So a debit card, you should probably know, pulls directly out of the available balance in your bank account. And you need to know that, right? But what's really nice about this card is just how it's used, right? So there's a lot that we're going to see explored out of this that we'll cover in greater detail once the card is live, but I just want to introduce it to you at a high level. So first of all, Visa is, at least in the US, is accepted just about everywhere. So you're going to be able to use this quite a bit. And it's up to 4% back in rewards. Now, why is it so much higher? It's higher because it's a debit card, and debit cards pay higher interchange with Visa than credit cards do. And this is why banks are always trying to get you to use their debit cards. Now, the disadvantage to this is if you're somebody that doesn't keep a lot of money in a checking account, a debit card is going to be of little use to you. Let's say you live paycheck to paycheck and you keep $2,000 total in your account, in your checking account. That's what you have available to spend. Once you go over that limit, you can't spend it. Unlike a credit card, you can spend more. And again, going back to my warning, don't do that. Don't spend more than you have. But that's why it pays 4% versus like the 1.5% to 3% that all of the other cards cover that I showed you, because this is a debit card. But I'm really, really excited about it because it gets you into the Coinbase ecosystem. I'm assuming that it's going to give you access to a lot of the coins that exist in Coinbase. And again, if you're someone that uses a debit card for a lot of transactions, I can almost guarantee you 4% earning back versus whatever your rewards are on any other debit card that's out there. This probably equals or beats them, which is really nice. Now, the other credit card that I wanted to cover is this one that I'm super excited about is my friends at Celsius. Now, we're still waiting to hear all of the details about this, but we do know it's a credit card. We do know that it's coming soon, and that's kind of all we know. It's going to have high rates. It's, they say created by hodlers for hodlers. That's awesome. No fees ever. What I like about this is, again, you guys know this. I'm a big Celsius fan. Celsius is awesome. It's a great platform to earn your crypto. It's growing like crazy. The CEL token is really, really nice, and the rates for earning are just solid. So this is one that I've got my eye on, but to be fair and completely unbiased, and we don't know enough about it. Once it comes out, if I like it, I'll tell you. If I don't like it, I'll tell you why I don't like it. I'll give you the pluses and minuses, the pros and cons, but I'm really excited to see what the Celsius card is going to look like. I'm excited to see when it finally comes out, and I'm certainly excited to see, does it really wrap me deeper into the Celsius ecosystem or does it not? So there you have it, my friends, the top 5 cards of 2021 and 2 additional ones to look at. Now, which one is right for you? I can't answer that question. I can just give you the raw data and you can make the decision for yourself. But keep in mind, again, I can't say the warning enough. Don't get into credit cards if you're not financially mature enough to pay them off every single month. You certainly don't want to get into credit debt, and I don't want to be a YouTuber that convinces you to get into credit debt all because you're excited about the rewards. Trust me, even at 3%, it does not offset your reward earnings if you're losing and paying back up to 20% or more on your credit card fees for how much you've gone over. You don't want to run into those situations. So I'd love to know from you, any of these cards that you're using that you really like, leave me some comments. What do you like about them? What's exciting? What do you not like about them? Or any other cards that I didn't cover that you want to see me cover at some point in time? I'd love to know. Just leave a comment down below and I would love to take a peek at what you guys think is best for you. All right, my friends, if you liked the video, you can pay me back super easily. Just hit like, hit subscribe, share it with friends, hit the bell icon. Great ways for you to just say thank you back to me. And I hope this video helps you in your journey of finding the best credit card for you for crypto earning. Thank you guys so much.